Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Meghan finds herself caught up in what we will term pasta gate, while the Duchess has shared step-by-step guides for her truffle popcorn and honey lemon layer cake with raspberry. She has notably withheld the details of a one-pot pasta dish she made in the first episode alongside her longtime friend and makeup artist Daniel Martin. The spaghetti, featuring lemon, kale, arugula, tomatoes, garlic, parmesan, basil, and chili flakes, was described by Daniel as so effing good. Meghan explained, "When I make this for my family. Not that my children are eating heaps of noodles, but I'll make enough that I can put leftovers in their lunchbox." However, the absence of the pasta recipe from the official release has sparked speculation among royal watchers. Some fans noted similarities to a well-known dish by Martha Stewart, who first shared a version of the one-pan pasta concept years ago and recently updated in February 2025 with the description, "The original and best." Stewart's recipe, inspired by a food editor's experience in Italy, features onions and red pepper flakes and has long been one of her most popular dishes. As the pasta cooks, the water reduces and the starchiness from the pasta transforms the remaining water into a creamy sauce, her site explains, emphasizing the importance of parmesan and fresh basil to complete the dish. Social media users quickly made the connection, with one writing, "But this one-pan pasta dish with kale is a Martha Stewart concoction," and another adding, "That is Martha Stewart's recipe and it is delicious." Others pointed out that similar versions have circulated for over a decade, with one commenter remarking, "I literally made the one-pot pasta she made off Pinterest in 2012. British chef Anna Jones has also included a variation in her cookbook, A Modern Way to Cook, calling it a complete revelation. Meghan has long expressed a passion for cooking, dating back to her now-defunct lifestyle blog, The Tig, where she frequently shared her culinary experiments. In one post, she detailed her first attempt at homemade pasta, admitting that it initially felt intimidating. "It was time. I wanted to make a homemade pasta, but it scared me. It seemed so complicated," she wrote. She ultimately succeeded in making spaghetti alla Cataro and capelletti stuffed with duck confit, braised kale and squash, joking that she had prepared for failure. "If it really just turned out like a bowl of wet flour with some sad duck, I could finish my wine and order a pizza," she quipped, before declaring the final dish magical. Whether Meghan's pasta recipe omission was intentional or simply an oversight, the comparisons to Stewart's well-established dish have certainly added another layer of intrigue to With love, Meghan. Emily Heil in the Washington Post tells us, "Back off, Meghan Markle haters. Her one-pot pasta technique is legit." Emily tells us, "Well, I tried it, and sorry to the legions of Meghan haters, but it's pretty delicious. To test whether it worked, I watched and rewatched the segment in which Meghan prepares the dish several times. Then I went to the store for the ingredients because, unlike the Duchess, my personal assistant was taking the day off. As I prepared to cook, I wondered whether I should try to emulate Meghan's dreamy cooking in other ways. My galley kitchen on a grey DC afternoon in no way resembled her sunny, airy backdrop, which is not her real home. Bowls of fresh-from-the-farm produce and rustic loaves of bread surrounded her massive island. My fruit bowl display consisted of an onion and a few dubious limes. I certainly wasn't going to dress like Meghan, whose all-white ensemble made me trigger-happy for a Tide pen, and the billowing sleeves of her creamy blouse screamed fire hazard more than chic. I decided not to adopt her odd knife skills. She used a blade that looked like a large paring knife, and she disconcertingly stretched her index finger along its top in a way that made me wince. Well, perhaps I could enlist a bestie, as our host did, to admiringly watch me cook and utter praises such as, 'You've always shown your love through food,' while I minced garlic and sliced tomatoes. No luck. Nevertheless, I soldiered on and otherwise followed Meghan's steps. Sliced cherry tomatoes go into a pan topped with a generous sprinkle of salt, a drizzle of olive oil on the garlic, a handful of spaghetti. She says it's an entire pack, but it looks like less than a full pound to me, so I use a little more than half a box. And the zest of a whole lemon are laid on top of that, and 3.5 cups of boiling water are poured over it. She brought it to a boil, covered it for about 6 minutes, then uncovered it, stirred in ribbons of kale, chard, and arugula, then added parmesan cheese and chili flakes, and the sauce reduced around the pasta. My only critique of the dish itself is that its on-screen execution suffers from excess, which isn't surprising, given that the host is literal royalty. She calls for 3 types of greens: kale, chard, and arugula, but you don't need full bunches of each. The reaction to Meghan's cooking show has been so overwhelmingly negative. Here we are over a week later, still trying to recap all of them. Comedian Christina Pazitsky, better known as Christina P., and who co-hosts a popular podcast with her husband, comedian Tom Segura, has added her voice, posting to TikTok for her 1 million followers. She's an actress playing the part of a human being right now, and it's not working. I don't know what the F this show is, she declared. She pointed out what she saw as a fundamental flaw in Meghan's presentation. The problem from minute one is that she's trying to be perfect all the time, and it reads as phony, as inauthentic, and not fun. Meghan, you just need to be an actress. Just go act. You're great in Suits. But when it comes to being a household branded name, you better be that thing through and through. Otherwise, people know that you're being fake and inauthentic. She's like, I don't even like honey, but now I appreciate it because I see how hard it is to get. And then she makes beeswax candles out of real beeswax. But she's like, I've never done this before. Yeah, you've never done any of this before, and I can tell. We can all tell. On BuzzFeed, Stephanie Sotoru writes, imagine hating on Meghan Markle and she's just sipping rosé and making ladybug crudités in the Montecito sunshine. Oh yes, I believe we can do that. Stephanie shares, to this day I still couldn't tell you exactly what Meghan's crime was to spark this barrage of pure hatred beyond being black. With Piers Morgan, it appears that he got offended when he wasn't invited to Meghan and Harry's wedding, having met the Duchess twice before, and he has publicly claimed that she ghosted him. Others believe that the palace was concerned that Harry and Meghan's natural warmth and charisma as royals could put William and Kate to shame, triggering the calculated smear campaign. Whatever the reason behind this campaign, it's undeniable that it worked. To this day, Meghan possesses the ability to leave otherwise regular-seeming people frothing at the mouth with her mere existence. In fact, Meghan appears to induce an almost admirable level of willful ignorance from her haters, who are seemingly so indoctrinated to find issues with everything she does that they lose all common sense. Predictably, the blind hatred has really ramped up a gear this week, thanks to the release of Meghan's Netflix series With Love, Meghan, an aesthetically beautiful lifestyle show where Meghan shares incredibly attainable tips and tricks for everything to do with hosting. After all, no matter how many hate tweets and nasty think pieces sent Meghan's way in the coming days, months, and years, one thing is abundantly clear. While the critics are getting irrationally angry over Meghan's new TV show, she is sipping rosé and finding joy in making ladybug crudités out of mozzarella and olives in the California sunshine, surrounded by people who love her. In short, there is absolutely no question about it. Meghan Markle has already won. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceindrig@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify or your favorite app. And don't forget to leave us a review of 5 stars. We like those 5-star reviews if you're enjoying the show. We have a new show out from Calaroga Shark Media called White Smoke, The Path to a New Pope. Please check it out. It's very timely and historical and cool. And you can get that wherever you get your podcasts. White Smoke. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue. Good times.